TIFU by inviting my cousin and her badly behaved son over for the holidays. I am 31. Really fucked up. I have not seen my cousin, F33, in over 9 years. She lives in Arkansas and I live in Texas. I had a falling out with most of my family this year and she is one that I still have communication with. She has only met my oldest daughter and has seen my younger other 2 children in pictures. She had a son who I have never seen, only in some pictures. Her ex-husband abandoned both of them. We thought it would be a good idea for them to come and visit for Christmas and have our kids get to know each other in the process. Bad fucking idea. They arrived today in the morning and we all go to have breakfast. We get to the restaurant and are seated. I'm not saying I have the best kids in the world, but they are calm and respectful. My cousin's son, 9, on the other hand, is out of control, running between tables, on his mom's phone under our booth table. He asks for a huge meal, enough for a grown person, and only takes a few bites of his pancakes and he is done. All the while my cousin does nothing and only tells him to settle down a few times. We leave and my older kids are equally embarrassed as I am. We get back to my house and all hell breaks loose. My son, 4, is autistic and has a small area in my walk-in closet where he has his prized possessions on a small shelf. I hear crying and it's my son, devastated because everything has been knocked over. I help him fix his collection and lock my bedroom door. While we are fixing my son's possessions, my cousin's son made his way into my office where I have collectibles as well. My sealed Lego Gunship box is open on the floor and the bags are all over the place. Also, a vintage Polaroid camera is near it and broken as well. My oldest daughter calls to me from the living room and when I get there I see he got to the fucking Christmas presents. The whole time my cousin is outside smoking cigarettes and on the phone. I call her inside and tell her calmly what her son has done. She smiles like nothing and just says she's sorry. I told her I can't allow that behavior in my home and if she cannot control her son I cannot have them stay. She's at a loss for words and I apologized but offered to pay for her hotel and if she wanted to go back home I'll pay her gas. Angrily, she just leaves. In the 45 minutes they were in my home, her son did an unknown amount of damages and ruined some surprises for my kids. I think I fucked up Christmas as well. TLDR. Invited cousin and her son over for the holidays. Did not know he wasn't well behaved. He caused mayhem in the short time they were in town. Sometimes it's better to not stay connected with family. You didn't do a foo. Your cousin did one by not having a grip on her son. I'm sorry, but 9 is not okay for that sort of behavior. There's intent there. It's not an outlier situation, it's a normal one. Which means the mom knew he does this and chose to take no measures or even tell you. So you could take measures to safeguard your stuff. I wouldn't bill her, but I also wouldn't pay for her gas or hotel. She didn't care. So you don't care. Simple. I would definitely drop her contact. I am so sorry to hear this. I've known people who aren't the best of parents, but for her to do the bare minimum as her son wrecks everything is probably the worst I've seen. I hope you were able to repair what is broken. Christmas is a time for family, so hopefully your kids will understand and not be disappointed. Fuck that. I'd be handing her a bill for the damages. I have called family the worst names ever and I'd be calling both of them to their faces. That's bad, although your intentions were good. I am so sorry this happened. But you sound like such an amazing parent. The way you have a little spot in your closet for your son's possessions made my heart melt. as I am sure it means the world to him. I am really glad you didn't put up with it and let them stay just because they're family like some might. I am sure your kids love and respect you a lot. Sparkling heart, sparkling heart, sparkling heart. Yay, no problem, no loss. You didn't do anything wrong except be hopeful. Assume the worst and the best will be a pleasant surprise. Hope it gets better. Hey. Hopefully it'll be a funny story your kids will tell their significant others and friends around the table on a much happier Christmas far in the future with you laughing along. Don't feel too bad. You didn't know, and as soon as you worked it out you kicked them out. You did the right thing. Clearly her son is trying to get her attention and she is not engaging with him enough. I honestly don't blame him for being super rowdy. Just a life tip. If anyone has kids that you have never seen or interacted with in person, don't invite them to stay in your home. This is your cousin's fuck up, not yours. Don't be too hard on yourself. Your only foo was offering to pay for gas or a hotel after he wrecked your shit. I can't imagine raising a kid that way. Cousin can GTFO immediately and figure it out themselves. You didn't foo up. The little shit did. And his mom as well. You tried to get the family together. Noble idea BTW. And he, being a spoiled little turd, decided to not give a fuck. I would give her a Raising Kids for Dummies book for Christmas. Oh man, I'm so sorry this happened. Obviously it was completely uncalled for and unacceptable, and there's no way you could have anticipated that a 9-year-old's behavior would be that bad. When I first started reading your story I was going to try and play devil's advocate a bit and wonder if there could be some extra developmental needs or sensory processing issues with the 9-year-old cousin. But then I hit the part about your 4-year-old with autism. And clearly you're well aware of that. I feel for your son. I remember being young and what it felt like to have my parents invite wild kids over and me being so nervous about having my space and my things violated. You did the right thing by booting them. Try and unwind and have a relaxing Christmas with your kids. I have a feeling a few years from now this will actually be a really funny Christmas memory for your kids. The time cousin came over and trashed the house and opened our gifts. It's just so bizarre. Merry Christmas. Nope. You preserved Christmas for your family by refusing to kowtow to the whims of a 9-year-old that isn't even your child. My rule, as someone who is a father and who has spent my entire life working in schools of all kinds, all age groups and all levels of behavior, and running youth clubs, is: do not inflict your child on others. Friends, family, strangers, whoever. They are your kid. It's up to you to make sure they are not interfering, damaging, annoying, harassing, bullying, stealing, screaming, whatever. Nobody else is going to be able to. If you don't want the responsibility, you shouldn't have had kids. Trouble is, far too often people won't stand up to other people's kids. Personally, that kid would have got an earful and be running back to mummy once I'd finished with them. I'm not letting my own young daughter dictate my life. I'm certainly not letting someone else's. When I was younger, everyone told me that if I ever had kids that they would be brats. On the basis of no evidence. I was a damn well-behaved kid myself. But they all said that I'd be too soft and my kids would run riot and they'd be in trouble. A handful, etc. Turns out those people know nothing about parenting. What was actually happening is that they themselves were unable to handle their own kids. And just thought that it was a difficult thing to do. Hard work is not the same as difficult. Because they couldn't do it. They assumed it was just something that nobody could do. So they assumed that I wouldn't be able to do it and my daughter would be in trouble all the time. In and out of jail, etc. My daughter is the fucking poster child of good behavior. She still gets compliments on her behavior. Into teenage. Strangers used to stop us and tell us how well behaved she was. And my thought was, no. She's not. She's just got parents who won't take shit. She's never been smacked. It's not necessary. Because if you can't control your child without having to inflict violence, then you're already too far down the "you already fucked up and now you can't fix it" style of parenting. I will make a tiny exception for behavior, but not for smacking, for extreme. As in, less than 0.1% of the population diagnosed lifelong behavioral problems, but I will also tell you that 99% of the people who try to hide behind their kid having such problems actually have no such thing. They're just poorly parented. If she's badly behaved, we remove her from everyone else. She loses privileges, not the people around her. We suffer her tantrum, nobody else. We deal with her behavior and take responsibility for her actions. No other adult. To the point that I've had confrontations with my own parents where they are trying to appease her and reward her out of bad behavior and disobedience, and I have to say, no. I said no. That's it. That's all she need hear. All you're doing by trying to make her disobey me is getting her into trouble. Stop it. If she does, take the sweet toy or whatever bribe you're trying to offer her to calm her down. Or do the thing that I've told her that she cannot. Even if you say it's okay, then she will be in trouble. And she knows it. I have literally had my parents on one side of the room, my daughter in the middle and me on the other side, with them trying to offer her things that I've said she can't have. If you take them from nanny, even secretly, even later, even when I'm not here, I will take them away and you will be in big trouble, kiddo. And my daughter knew what would happen. So she never dared. She even burst into tears once because nanny kept trying to make her do things that she'd been told she wasn't to do, and she knew she'd get in trouble if her parents found out. Even if there was no practical way for us to actually find that out. Children are a product of your own creation. If your kid is a little arsehole, there's a reason for that. If your kid is mean, rude, violent, bullying, inconsiderate, ignorant, loud, etc., there's a reason for that. And the categories of exceptions are literally so rare that the vast majority of parents cannot hide behind, well, he has this condition. And when kids go to substitute parents, relatives, teachers in school, youth clubs, you can most often see the difference. They generally kick off because all of a sudden people are telling them no and they've never heard that word or certainly never had it enforced. Or they kick off while their parents are still standing there, and turn into a completely other child when they leave and the adult in the room isn't their parent. One of two things happen. They become differently behaved in the clubs, and I have witnessed no end of, yes, he loves coming to karate. If only he was that well behaved at home. Quote. In which case I'm shaking my fucking head that the parent doesn't understand why that is. Or they don't like going to the club, and prefer to stay at home where their kicking off gets them their own way all the time. Cool. Exactly what I want. The only person having to deal with their bad behavior is the only person it affects or that triggers it. Unfortunately, it's even creeping into schools where appeasement for an easy life is almost the norm now for the kids who are isolated for behavioral problems. If I kick off, they let me play on PlayStation rather than sit in a boring lesson, is literally something I've witnessed for decades from professionals, and it literally makes things 100 times worse. If your child is simply not pleasant and even adults don't want to be around them, even for a short period of time, you need to do something about it as a parent. If your solution is smoking cigarettes on the porch, ignoring their behavior and making someone else deal with it, game over. You're not even trying to parent. There's being an ineffective parent. And boy, have I seen thousands of those. And there's not even trying. And make no mistake, if you are not going to parent your kids in my presence, I will damn well do it for you. If you don't like me doing that, then I suggest you step up and do your job. And it is your job as a parent. If you don't parent them, I will. And I will do it properly, and I will be far harsher given that I can see that you haven't parented them properly, so I have a lot more work to do in an incredibly short time to fix the situation. If you disapprove of that, either you do that because it's your job, and it's easier for you to do that as you're around them all day and know them, or you take your children away from me. We both win. And no matter what condition you want to hide behind, this applies. I would not like to have a seriously, medically, extremely autistic child. They are an absolute handful and standard techniques do not work as well. But that doesn't mean they are ineffective or cannot be handled. But if that was my child, I would still not inflict that on others to deal with. Any more than I'd expect strangers in a restaurant to have to chest pound a cystic fibrosis child of mine, or clean up after an incontinent child of mine. It's not their job to do. It sucks that I would have to do it. Of course it does. And of course I'd be glad of the rest if someone willingly took that on. But it's not their job. Preserving your Christmas by parenting someone else's child who they have zero interest in. Parenting is not only being a good parent to your kids, it's being a good parent to that kid too. They may not like it. Their parents may not approve of it. But now the only person who is the cause of that behavior and responsible for that behavior has to deal with it. And your own family Christmas and parenting can be enjoyed. Literally enjoyed. Properly parented children are a joy. Do not inflict your child on others. And don't make me have to parent them on your behalf. Because, for fucking sure, I absolutely will do so. If anything, I feel like your response was too generous. Don't be hard on yourself. I'm sure your family understands you meant well and that your cousin and devil child took advantage of that. I hope things work out. Especially for your son. Being a single parent is no joke. But that kid's behavior is classic need for attention, which he doesn't seem to be getting at all, given the brief description of the events. Presumably she knows he's like that, so why would she leave him unattended in someone else's home for even a minute? You tried to do a pretty sweet thing for the holidays, which unfortunately turned out quite badly. It happens. But your heart was in the right place. That cousin, however, what the ever-loving fuck? Jesus. I got angry just reading that. At 9 years old. That is way beyond unacceptable behavior. Clearly this wasn't the first time this kid did this either. Or she'd be mortified by his behavior rather than basically ignoring it. The kid clearly has emotional or developmental issues. So you can't even be that mad at the kid itself. But you can be mad at how she deals with those as a parent.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.